Now, this either about to be the greatest trade I've made so far, right? Great trade or great lesson. But welcome as always. This is Wealthy Sibling. Where we're here to really talk about our journey as becoming the wealthy sibling, a wealthy relative, understanding that our families have a money story, but we want our money story to be different, right? Most of us, especially if you join this community, we come from a place where wealth isn't a thing that falls off a tree. Is it a thing for most of us who we actually inherit unless we are the ones who start that journey, right? So welcome to Wealthy Sibling. I'm your host, Marcel, known as Wealth Mentor, Wealth Creator. Let's get into it. So, like I said before, either this is going to be the or one of the greatest trades I've made, or a great lesson, right? Saying that I have to go back to the drawing board. What do I mean when I say that? Most people don't like to talk about their losses, or when they're down, right? But I've lost trades. Okay, I've said that before. I've lost trades. But one of the trades I made for 2025 is micro strategy. Now it's out until 2026. My goal or my belief is I believe in the standard of the new society's currency, right? So that's not just the only reason why I got into the trade. The insights that I have and the timing said, hey, get it around this price. It's under 300. Hop in now. My original exit, it didn't hit the exit. And I'm going to walk you through it. Because right now, if you go and look, it's probably like 250, right? Now, my break even is three something. So you're like, what? Wait, what? Exactly. So if it ain't knows, my break even is three something. So here's why we talk about this. I've also seen the same stock move $10 in a day. It's definitely been on a downtrend. The entire market's really been on a downtrend besides certain stocks. Now, I have a good amount of time, and my intuition is because going back to what I said before, society has switched from traditional assets. What does that mean? And I want to make sure I'm not talking to sex y'all. The guys still go to the same liquor store they've been going to. It's a new liquor store across the corner, but all the pros still go to the same liquor store they've been going to for 5 years. Now, that same liquor store is out of their favorite vodka, out of their favorite tequila, out of their favorite cognac. They ain't got it no more. But the new liquor store got all their classics and they got some remixes. It's one way to put it. And what I mean when I say that, as far as bro, what is the liquor store like? How do we get here? The liquor store is the economical assets that most people are dealing with. You still got the US dollar, you still got the yen, you still got the classics, you got traditional, but then you have the quote unquote new society people who believe in digital currency, right? Crypto and so forth and so on. You've seen it to the point of they have Bitcoin ATMs, right? They have Bitcoin converging systems. They look very similar to ATMs if they're not actual ATMs, but they've took time to put actual stations in here where you can go and say, "Hey, I own this amount of Bitcoin from a ledger, which is an electronic wallet, or maybe an account." Because I actually have never used the actual Bitcoin machine, but I'm just going to go under the assumption those are the main two ways you're either going to transfer Bitcoin. So let's get into it. Let's just really talk about it. So, with that being said, you believe in the digital currency, you believe in Bitcoin, you believe in Ethereum, you believe in Solana, Cardano. Um, in regards to like if you because this American born show, America believes in the digital currency. They've invested in it. They have um, introduced policies about it. Whole nine, right? When I told y'all, our goal is to change our money story. Our goal is to get to the bag. So what we talking about now? Outside of, you heard a lot of people pockets are hurting right now, because I do want to acknowledge that the government shutdown is happening. It's triggering a lot of negative effects in the overall economy. Like, the economy wasn't doing great prior to this, but when working people start feeling the effects of the world struggle, now you have majority of your country looking up like, yo, where are we stable wise? Like, how long is the money for real? Like, is your money day long, or is your money a week long? Is your money, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we, a few hours? What we talking about? When you have working class asking you, hey bro, how long your money is? Like, is we gonna be good for the next 30 days, or do I gotta call, Peter, because we're gonna be out of money tomorrow? Essentially, is the thought process. So, but again, I believe in the coming age of the economy. I believe in the trade, and I have some time in the trade. Now, here's what I said. Most people won't talk to you about, like, the psyche that you go through losing. You have to admit, and not necessarily losing, because you never did, until it expires. Fat lady ain't some, straight like that. Um, but you do have to realize when you are in actual hole. So this conversation we having, and is about the trade and trading. But this is the first time I talked about when you're trying to become wealthy, and you're using the stock market as the vehicle to do it, your psyche of sitting in a trade. Then I also had a realization that everybody trades differently. So the concept of why you trade is going to sound wild to somebody else, right? The decisions you're making are going to sound wild. Everybody's fundamentals is the same. I don't care if you're a day trader, swing trader, or otherwise, whether it's options, futures, or crypto with the ladder thing, right? I'm still trying to wrap my head around the ladder thing. But the fundamentals of investing and trading are the same. Now, people who trade in different concepts are going to think differently. And it's very similar to how we can all be from the hood, right? Like, traders are like this. You have somebody who's a day trader, you have somebody who's a swing trader, you have somebody who only trades options, you have somebody who trades futures. But if you trade, you trade. Similar to this. You have people who live in a hood, but they'll go to a charter school, they'll go to a quote unquote private school. And then you'll have people who live in a hood who go to the public school. They all get an education. They all still stay in the hood, but their perspective shifts because of who they deal with on a day-to-day basis. Who's teaching them in the education? And this is not in reference to how you learn and who you trade from, but the concept of, yo, we all live in the hood, but I go to a private school. Hypothetically, I go to a private school. The things that I'm exposed in the private school, I'm not exposed to, or the thought process that is cultivated in my private school. They ain't thinking like that in public school. They're not teaching you, algebra 3 in public school. They only teach you algebra 1, they're gonna move to geometry. They might go to algebra 3 when you're a freshman, right? In high school on the private side. So now my thought process and what I'm navigating is completely different. And it's very similar to that in trading. And you learn that the more you talk to traders and just the concepts. And sometimes I just be like, I'm at the point where, like, outside of talking to y'all, because I do this show for y'all, because we're going on this wealthy journey together. And I want you to know that there's some amazing things that, like, I'm going to create a highlight for 2025. We're going to vamp these things up, or we're going out here and we're going to instill possibilities that where your money story can be different. Your family's money journey can be completely different, but you have to start. Now you're going on this journey with me. So getting back to the concept, public knowledge, and this is news feeds for like Robinhood or wherever your brokerage is. They're stating the MicroStrategy trends with digital currency, right? Allegedly. Now, the where I've seen MicroStrategy go to where it is now is a wild ride. Do I believe it can come back? Yeah. The reason why I said this will either be a great trade or a great lesson is because I got 30 days to see if I'm right. I got 30 days. We'll see. Depending on the direction of the trade. We'll see. I might bounce back. But when I say I assessed everything that I did not, I did, I learned. I applied my education to the mistakes that I made in the trade, quote unquote. So most people would be like, "Hey, what was your original stop loss?" My original stop loss was, and I didn't move it. That was another thing. So we're gonna walk through this. If you're in a trade and you're in the money, right, which means you're in profit, move your stop loss up to where you believe should be your floor. And what I mean when I say your floor, which is your area of support, it says if it goes past here, I'm going to have it stop in the market. So like if you're on Robinhood, it says that it's a stop market, and it'll sell your contracts. Now I'm talking in the lanes of options, just to be very specific as to like what I'm saying and what type of trade I'm doing. I don't want you to get confused with like futures or anything else. It's not that. Um, so in regards of the option, you're like, hey, I got this amount of money in my bag. I'm trying to keep it. I don't need you trying to go to the fifth floor when I'm only trying to go to the third floor with my bag, straight like that, which is the ascension of why it's called a stop loss or stop market, right? Because the button is going to say stop market if you're on Robinhood. So now what can happen is, and this did happen, it can bleed through the stop loss, which happened to me, and or it triggers, sells all the contracts, and then keeps it going, right? So now you left money on the table, but it's better to have money on the table and money in your bag than no money at all in a hole in your pocket. But the difference is how much time do you have? I've noticed when I try to, now I got lucky. I'm tell you what I did do. This is another one. I did extremely short trade, which in some people's eyes might even be considered a day trade because I think I only stayed in this Nvidia trade for like 2 days to get my money back. Right, I flipped it. So I said, you know what, bro? I know about all-time highs. It's gonna come down, but I believe before it come down, is Nvidia is gonna get to 210, maybe 215. I believe that. Now I did hit it, but I didn't have time to track it. So that all depends on if you have time to watch the market. Yo, you got time in your hand, you can make $500. And I've seen unrealized $1,000 profits in like 2 days. And all I do is click sell and it's realized profits. Um, but that wasn't near my exit. So that wasn't my exit. So that's the difference. Stick to your exit. Now, if you don't, these are the risks. This is why we're talking about these things. And I think that this is going to be an amazing show for that instance. But I did end up flipping the video trade, getting my money back. And I did the two swings that I'm rolling with for right now. going in 2026 is DraftKings. Don't say I didn't say this to you as my mentee. Don't say I didn't say this to you, family, because we on the same wealthy journey. To me, DraftKings is the new retail trade. Now, if you really do this, you're going to understand exactly what I'm about to say or what I just said. Now, full disclaimer, anything I've previously said throughout this episode or any of my other shows, I am not a financial advisor. I am a financial creator or fin influencer, financial influencer. The content that I make and I speak to you is from a person who is going on a wealth journey and the things that I've discovered in my opinion. So all this stuff is my opinion. Now, getting to it. In my opinion, the gambling industry, right? Or the bet industry, it's a better term. The betting industry to me is the new retail trade. People who spend money on commerce or at retail stores, and they still will even on Black Friday, society, you are more likely to get the same previous outcomes placing trades on platforms that utilize the betting industry. So DraftKings is one, right? And I'll put it out there. So DraftKings is one play I'm in. If you understand anything about American football, not international football, not soccer, American football, we have a really, really big celebration for the season at the end of the year. Or not at the end of the year. In the beginning of every next year, right? Usually you could see positivity. I'm not saying that it's always going to happen, but usually you'll see positivity. So if I take that same concept and my people, so there's society's culture, there's your culture, like however you know your people operate, and then how the world operates, how humans operate. Like, all right, if I put two and two together, and they've been doing this for the past 15 years consecutively, I'm pretty sure this is going to happen again. I could be wrong, but I put my money on it, right? So I really put my money on it. I said, okay. I believe DraftKings is going to go up from whatever its current price by the time you see this week to Black History Month. I think it's going to be cool. Now, how quick that uptrend is going to go, depending upon whatever may happen. But I do believe that it'll move at least $10. So I said, I bet. Now, the sooner it moves, now for any trader, time frame is your best friend, because how long you're in a trade and how long you have, if you're on the option side, how long you have in the trade is your best friend. People who are day traders, they trade from minutes to hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours max, if that, whenever they get in the move. For people who trade or swing trade, our time frames are days, really weeks to months to years. So weeks, more than 1 week, and months, more than 1 month, and years, so more than 1 year. And more than 1 year is called a leap. Done a leap before, ended it positive still. But that's how I trade. So whenever I talk to traders, I really just want to know what's their thought process. And I'll be like, okay, because I always ask you, how are you trading? Because I'm not going to give you my financial opinion on any stock if you and me don't trade the same for real. I can give you an investor's idea to be like, okay, I see that. I can see that in that trade from the fundamentals, especially if I already know about the stock. Be like, okay, you're doing 24 hours. You're doing what this week, right? Because if you do options, it's contracts can't be a week. So, and you're just flipping between the days. But with that being said, you on Apple. Apple at the time of this, let me see. Give me two. Well, it's just as fast. So today, Apple's high towards midday was 271. The 52-week high is 277. It dropped all the way down to 267. And by close, pretty much is 270. That's for the day. Oh, that week is, yeah. Now that month it's been doing really well. So if you were like me and you got into a swing, this is really, really good from 245 basically to 270. It's a great move for us, especially more so during the middle of this month. This is less than 30 days. But that's a great swing. And on the day side, it's choppy because unless you got in, using Apple as an example to tell you about the difference between people with day trade and swing trade, unless you got in right at the open between 8:30 a.m. Central Time, so when we open over here, to 8:45 a.m., you ain't really have much of a real move. There's one through the whole day. Like this ain't it's not like this moved from 167 to 277 and then closed at 270. No, it's not what happened. It never broke really past 271. So you got a $3 move, which is cool. You might have made you $100 today. Maybe. See what I'm saying? It really all depends on the day and when you caught the move. But that's not a major move versus if you had got into Apple at 220. And I thought about getting Apple at 220, but I was so like, man, Apple ain't, this is 3 months. I'm like, Apple might go back down to 200. And Apple went to 200 August 1st. And you still could have took the entry there. I'm not even gonna lie. Like even Apple at 200 at whatever that time still wasn't bad. Still wasn't a bad trade. Not gonna lie. Just off the simple fact that, bro, half of the economy, half of America has an iPhone at this point. No cap. But it always depends on the stock that you're choosing and the reason behind why you're choosing it. So, with that, yeah, with that one, we go see if I have a great trade or great lesson. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. I appreciate everybody for supporting me. But man, yo, we gonna see what happens. Love.